Welcome to Speak. I'm Joy Taylor, joined by Keyshawn Johnson, Paul Pierce, and the playmaker Michael Irvin. It's a very, very big day.
Big day. You've been waiting for this day, huh?
Michael,
big day.
Michael was walking up to the studio in the hallway. He was like, let's go. You gotta get upstairs. You got a big show to do today.
Did you sleep last night is the question.
Yeah, I did sleep after talking with Deion and went to sleep, woke up this morning and talked with him again. So I'm doing good.
We're gonna hear all about it, right?
I'm doing very good.
Well, huge Rams win last night. A great game for the Rams, and we'll discuss that shortly. But we've got to start with the latest news on the Cowboys coaching search. Our insider, Jordan Schultz, broke the news yesterday that Jerry Jones and Deion Sanders had a discussion about the Cowboys head coach opening, and there is mutual interest between the two sides. Michael Irvin has been all over the country recruiting Deion to the Cowboys, going all the way back to early November. Let's take a listen.
I've talked with him a million times about this, and every time I must admit he is consistent. Man, I'm called to the kids. I'm called to the kids. And I say to time, I said, I said, listen, I'm called to help the kids. I said, if Jerry comes up with $100 million, you could take $50 million to the kids and keep your other 50 and come coach the Cowboys.
There is no better show to be watching than this one with Michael.
That boy good.
Yes, he's very good. He's been all over this from the very beginning. Has obviously a very great relationship with Jerry Jones, a great relationship with Coach Prime, experience, and has been on top of this from the very, very beginning. So, Michael, we love to see a plan come together. Is it going to come together, though? Is your Prime plan really going to happen?
Well, and I tell you guys, circumstances sometimes push people in a different place or a different area that they thought about going in. And Key, I wasn't joking yesterday when you enlightened me of how that thing played out between Jerry and Mike McCarthy. And I knew that was going to send Jerry spinning because he has to now go and get something that says, okay, this is why I let Mike McCarthy go. I had a better plan in mind. And when you brought that up, boy, I said, man, this might get my plan back on track. And yes, it did, because a phone call was made. And honestly, I said it here a couple weeks ago. I don't know how any GM or any AD, anybody that says we got to do something to get our team over the hump or get it to a better place, not sit down and have to consider Deion Sanders with the track record that he has laid out before you. You have to consider this. So if you're not considering him, you're not doing your job totally. And Jerry, when you think about what Deion did at the HBCU, you think about what Deion did at Colorado, think about what they were before he got there and what it is now. Who would not want that in their organization? So this way, when I talked to Deion this morning, he said to me, now, listen, I can tell you this, we did talk and these things, but Michael, that's it, we can't go any farther with it. I was like, no, I know I got a big mouth, I won't go too far with it, but I appreciate you telling me that, because that means good conversations are being had, not just a conversation, good conversations are being had. And I want to shed ye up and make sure those conversations keep ye going, if you know what I mean.
We do know what you mean.
I know what you mean.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to know anything. Don't tell me, because when they ask me, I want to be able to look them in the face and say, I don't know anything. Right? So don't tell me anything.
I went the other way, Key. I said, tell me what you can tell me. I'm going to try to hold it.
I'm going to do my best.
I'm going to try to hold it.
Well, Key, do you think that Michael's Prime plan is going to happen?
They're talking. That means that there's a start. There's something that's there. I'm not reaching out to you if I don't have an interest. And you're not going to pick up the phone and have a conversation with me if you don't have an interest. So that's a starting point, right? That they're having a conversation. Do they need to interview Deion Sanders? Like, do they really need to have an interview with him every time you see him?
Right.
He's been knowing the man since he came out of college. I mean, he's been knowing him. He obviously played for the Cowboys, so the interview process is just me seeing you every day. You want the job or you don't want the job. Because at the end, he's going to be the general manager. He's going to be the owner. He's got personnel people in place. The only thing Deion needs is the players and the money that Michael's talking about. Mm-hmm. That's all he needs. He doesn't need full control. We're not dealing with a Bill Belichick situation where all of a sudden, well, what do you want in this situation? Well, I want full control. We're not dealing with that with Deion. Deion wants to coach football. He wants to mentor the young men that are on the team, all of those sort of things. So I'm like, Michael, I don't see another way that they would even go. You have to, the fact that you have reached out to him.
Right here, right, say that. Because you said that backstairs, and I mean, it's hard to come off. Who do you go to now?
Yeah, you can't.
Who do you go to?
You done already reached out to him.
So you're saying that because we have this news and they have talked, it will look a little crazy if it doesn't get done. Because who's
a better candidate, though, Joy?
Than Deion Sanders.
Who's a better candidate out there than Deion, Joy?
Right.
Well, if it doesn't get done, it'll be on Deion. This will have nothing to do with Jerry Jones because Deion, like, as a matter of fact, there will be an interview process, but it'll be more like Deion interviewing Jerry. Like, this is what I need. You know, this is, like, if I come here, there's certain stipulations that have to be put in place, like all that media talking on the side and all this other stuff. Like, Deion don't play that. You know,
but I don't think he would care about that.
But he
don't care about that.
That's the one thing he did say. He said, Michael, just let people don't understand the depth of the relationship I have with Jerry Jones.
Right.
Yeah. And they have a great relationship. And the first time, I Jerry, I know there are money things involved here, and even Deion has a buyout, you know, in his contract. I've sat in that room with Jerry when we were recruiting Deion to come to Dallas. And Jerry, I had just done a deal, and Jerry said, man, this deal is going to blow that deal out the water, Mike. I'm going to have to overpay for Deion. I said, overpay. I'm coming out of my pocket, overpay. You know what I mean? And he's going to have to overpay here, but overpay in certain circumstances.
But is he really overpaying? Think about it. Think about what you said when you talked about where Deion has come from and where he's at. We can go from the high school to the HBC to Colorado.
Correct.
He's 9-4 with a bowl game. If you take any coach, let's judge Deion like we would judge any other coach in America.
It'll be the hottest coaching prospect right now is what you're about to. You're right.
He is ascending.
You did right. There'll be a hottest coaching prospect.
So we ain't overpaying for him. We giving him what he deserved and what he earned.
Well, first of all, it goes beyond coaching with Deion. Do you understand?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Like, now the fans will be back. Because he said something earlier in the year. This was the lowest attendance to the, what was the training camp?
Training camp at Oxnard.
Well, okay, we're going to check that box when we hire Deion. All right, you know, regular season attendance, it was kind of down this year.
Right.
We're going to check that
you
box.
You for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a number of things that come with Deion.
Oh, yeah, you for sure
Dallas
bringing excitement. There's no question about the excitement part of it.
I hope this happens. I've been saying this since this plan has first been articulated by our very own Michael Irvin. Selfishly, I have seen the most intense, spectacular, polarizing story in sports to this day in my career covered firsthand in Miami. I started in Miami in 2007. LeBron James sat on national television and said, I'm taking my talents to South Beach, which wasn't entirely accurate. It was downtown Miami, but the point was made. I'm going to Miami, and he crashed the sports world. It was the biggest story in the sports universe for the time that he, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh were in Miami. You remember, Paul? Yeah. And it was insane. Like, it was like the entire world was against the area of South Florida. You could look at a map, everyone is rooting against this team because it was so polarizing and intense. Deion Sanders going to the Dallas Cowboys, which is the biggest brand in all of sports on the entire planet of Earth, would be the biggest story on the planet for the entirety of the time that he is there. It just would be. There's never been a story like the Big Three in Miami since I have been in the business that has been covered so intensely, that has been so polarizing. Think of the opinions that people have of Deion Sanders at Colorado.
Yeah.
Colorado. This is the Dallas Cowboys. This is Coach Prime, Deion Sanders. There is no bigger pairing. So when you're talking about overpaying, to Paul's point, forget the Dallas Cowboy fans coming back. People hate the Dallas Cowboys now when they're losing and they have really no impact on the scene. What? I cannot put into words how big of a story this would be. So selfishly, for all of us, I really hope this happens. I remember where I was when LeBron James said he was coming to Miami. I was in Benihana in North Miami. I got up and ran around the room and yelled at everyone in that restaurant that their lives would never be the same. All of you are going to make more money next year because LeBron James is coming to South Beach.
Well, you know what? That's from God right there. I appreciate that. You ran around a restaurant talking about they're going to make a lot of money when LeBron comes. Boy, that playmaker's going to do well when Deion gets there. Boy, that was
there isn't a check that you will be able to write for the coverage, for the merchandise, for the headlines. We will have to add an hour of our show every day just to cover Cowboys topics.
Another reason why Jerry has to and must do this is you just saw what Mr. Kraft did. He brought one of his own back home.
Back home. That's a great point.
You know what I'm saying? And Mike Vrabel. So, and they boys, right? They boys. They talking. He see exactly. He's bringing him to get this program back right. I need to go get my guy who can do the job and bring him back so he can get our program right. They follow each other in this league. That's just what they do down in their West Palm Beach.
Not one, not two, not three.
Yeah.
That opening press conference with Jerry Jones and Deion Sanders?
Be insane. It will be absolutely insane. And we always talk about Jerry loves the press and he loves the media. Well, like you guys are saying, the media will be there. But even, it's not just hype. When we talk on that term, I don't want people to think we're throwing fluff out here. Deion went to Jackson State. They were 4-8 when he got there in 2019. And 21, they won the SWAC championship. We see what he did in Colorado. They were 1-11.
But that's why I said, Michael, we got to judge him based like we judge every other coach. Let's not just look at Deion and the hype. He's a really good
He's delivering
coach.
the measurables.
The expectations should be high. And that's why I keep using this comp. The expectations were high. They went to 4 straight finals and won 2 championships. The expectations, I don't just think he's the right person for the job because of all this other stuff that I'm mentioning, which is very, very important. This is a business. This is entertainment. This is conversation. This is free agent recruiting. This is all of those things. This is putting together a staff of the best to help coach at the NFL level. This is all those things. But Coach Prime is an ascending coaching candidate. He would be in this conversation, whether his name was Deion Sanders or not, based off of what he's done everywhere he's gone.
But there are, you got to still understand, Joy, what you do. There are a segment of individuals that's out there in the world that feels like he would only be getting this opportunity because he is Deion Sanders and not looking at the body of work that he's put in.
Haters are important, too. You know? They're very important.
No, I get it.
We must have haters.
No, I get it.
We need them.
I just take a step back and I look at other coaches that have gone on and had success, whether it was at the college level or the pro level, in a short period of time, then all of a sudden they become a head coach and we just, what a great hire. I mean, think about when Matt Rule left and he wound up going to Baylor and he got Baylor turned around in 1 or 2 years and all of a sudden he got the Carolina job. They gave him the most money ever. And 2 years later he was fired because he couldn't get the job done.
Correct.
So that's why I'm saying what I'm saying about Prime. On top of that, when we look at the staff is very important. For all coaches. His staff is an NFL staff already in Colorado. Doesn't mean he's going to bring everybody there. He got a relationship with Mike Zimmer, the defensive coordinator, that is in Dallas already. So you don't have to mess with that and Al Harris on that side of the ball. You know, you can bring some other people. I'm excited about it. I can't wait for it to happen because I think it's going to be, I'm going to have to stop, messing with you so much about our Cowboys. Our Dallas Cowboys.
That's how we were when we went to the cave in Colorado, hung out with them, But there's one thing that we talk about that I'm curious to see with Deion. And I bring these records up of where he started from. You guys hear me here say it all the time, a measurement in distance traveled, and he's traveled each of these destinations he put in better situations. So now you go to Dallas. Dallas is a hell of a better start than he ever had when we talk about where he's going to go from there. He's never had a team as good as where Dallas is right now. Like he's been starting at
the bottom.
the bottom, and working his way up. Now we can at least say he's somewhere in the middle of the room and working.
He took over
and I can't wait to see
1-11?
Yeah.
1-11. 1-11.
Well, last night, Troy Aikman talked about how our Cowboys head coaching job is how
Come on, home time.
Hey, Paul, in the prompter.
You said R now.
In the prompter. I am on Burgundy. Okay, if you want to set me up, put in the prompter. That was on purpose. I'm coming to get you, Heller. Talks about how the Cowboys head coaching job is viewed. All right, Paul. Is the Cowboys head coach position a great job?
It's one of the top 3 or 4 greatest head coaching professional sports jobs in the world. For the simple fact that you understand what the brand is. You understand if you win here. And who turns down a Dallas Cowboy job, a Laker head coaching job, New York Yankees, Celtics? These are certain jobs that live with you forever if you win. You know, these are iconic franchises that if you go to, you become immortalized if you win a championship. Simple as plain. So if Deion wins there or he decides to go there and win, it's just that they haven't done it since Michael Irvin. It's still a great job regardless of what you say. You just have to win there, and then you'll see the effects of it, right, Mike?
Absolutely.
To this day.
Absolutely. And I'm still living on it. You still living on the Celtics because it carries
so much weight.
Right, that great tradition and everything, man. So I totally understand what Troy is saying, you know, when he's talking about.
I mean, he's looking at the infrastructure.
Right. And
that doesn't matter right now.
How a head coach wants to do it his way.
Yeah.
I understand all of that. But to say that this isn't a coveted job, first of all, there's only 32 of these things in the whole world. Mm-hmm. Only 32. We got 100,000 coaches out here, so many coaches that wants this opportunity to coach. And now you're talking about coaching the NFL. This is coaching in the NFL and coaching the Dallas Cowboys, going back to a place where you had a ring. It's crazy, actually, to say it's not a coveted job. It really is, because all 32 are coveted, and especially the best are the most well-known franchise in the league.
It's a great job.
Check the boxes. You got a quarterback. You got a star player on offense.
She's talking
out of all the available jobs,
player on defense.
Remember this, Keith. Out of all the available jobs, you have New Orleans, Chicago, New York Jets, Vegas, and Jacksonville Jaguars. Out of those,
okay, but what
Dallas is the most ready to advance.
What are you really truly asking me though, Joy? Is the job a great job, or is it a good job, and does it work for everybody? Because what Troy is basically saying, it doesn't work for everybody.
True.
So therefore, it doesn't make it a great job. It works for certain individuals. I would take the job because I would know that Jerry Jones is going to be there. I'm okay with that. That doesn't work for everybody. Everybody doesn't want to answer to Jerry 24/7. They don't want to do it. So for Deion, it may be a great job. But there's another coach out there that looks at it and goes, I don't want to deal with that circus. I don't want to deal with that.
Well, to your point about there only being 32 of these, there's only so many men that could look at this job and say, not for me. Like
I understand. Give me 5 on your hand. Give me 5 on your hand.
No. I'm not saying there's less. I'm saying
5 on my hand.
Perhaps Bill Belichick might be comfortable because Bill Belichick has already won 6 championships. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying he would or he wouldn't, but if he was like, I would like to stay in North Carolina and this is the chapter that I'm in, you can't argue with that. He's Bill Belichick.
You can't, but
I don't think I'm not saying he does or doesn't. I'm just saying there's very few people that can. I'm actually agreeing with you. There's very few people that can say, I don't want this job in spite of the challenges that are in place. I don't think it's a great job if your plans are to win, if your name is anything other than Deion Sanders. You know how I feel about Bill Belichick at this point, and I don't think that Bill Belichick is someone that would do great dealing with Jerry Jones every single day. I don't think that Bob Kraft is that type of owner.
No, Mr. Kraft was not like that on a daily basis.
Bill Belichick had total and complete control.
Yes,
and we know he is not about the headlines. We're on to Cincinnati. That is his deal. Yeah. That is the polar opposite. Even if they have a relationship, that doesn't mean that that's a working relationship. They couldn't be further apart in how they approach things.
So if I'm just a normal coach that's looking for a job,
You taking that job.
And I got an opportunity, I'm going to probably take that job. But if I'm Mike McCarthy and I didn't get the necessary contract that I was looking for.
But he had the job, though.
No, I understand that. And there's the Chicago Bears and there's the Jacksonville Jaguars, because I got to remove coaches want to remove themselves from things that me, Paul, Michael may like, which is the star, when we win a championship, we the greatest ever, all that. A lot of coaches will remove themselves for just trying to win a championship in a Jacksonville, trying to win a championship in the Chicago, because if you can somehow get something out of Chicago, as a Chicago Bear head coach,
it'd be the same as Dallas.
No, it's not going to be the same.
But it's
going to be good for you, but not the same.
It's not the same because there's no comparison to Dallas. But winning a Super Bowl with Chicago, you will eat, and your grandchildren will eat.
And outside, another thing that's interesting about the Dallas Cowboy job, it could be both a blessing and a curse as a head coach. And what I mean by that is you're blessed if you're Jimmy Johnson. But you cursed if you're Jason Garrett. And everybody in between that. Think about it, Michael. Who's gotten a head coaching job outside of Jimmy that has been the Dallas Cowboys head coach and was eventually let go and moved on to become a head coach again?
Well, we had a few like the Norv Turners
but he was never the head coach of the Cowboys.
No, he was never the head coach of the Cowboys.
The Cowboys.
Washington and right.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I got what you're
when
saying.
you fail as a Dallas Cowboy head coach,
it's
like you ain't getting another job.
But the other side,
you ain't getting another one.
But the other side to that, let's use an example.
Ain't got another job.
Bill Belichick. Tell Bill Belichick or something. We are measuring people all the time with our own thoughts and not just what the record says. So Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. Tom Brady went to Tampa and won a Super Bowl. Also, it was Tom that did it. Let Bill go to Dallas and win a Super Bowl. You see what I mean? That covers all the, it was Bill. You get it back. Of course. It brings certain things because it's the Cowboys. And I actually think Bill Belichick will work well with Jerry because Bill doesn't want to talk to the media. He can say, talk to Jerry. I want to talk to the team. But he's in North Carolina, and I hope he does well. And let us get Deion now. You know what I'm saying? So
we're taking somebody else from college.
Right.
No, I'd rather have Deion in Dallas than Bill in Dallas anyway.
Me too.
I'd rather have Deion in Dallas.
Because a lot of the stuff that we're talking about, trust me, Deion knows how to work with Jerry. He knows how. That's the one. He said, Mike, make sure they know. He loves Jerry. Jerry, they're the same dude.
That's why.
They're the same people. Deion bringing the media.
There's no one that you could pitch me that I would believe is capable of getting the Cowboys over the hump because of the way that the Cowboys are constructed.
Dudes will take less money.
So beautiful.
Dudes will take less money to come play with him.
No, I'm saying Coach Prime is the only one. Yeah. And it's because he has a relationship with Jerry. Because part of the reason why I feel like it's hard for coaches to have success in Dallas is because of Jerry. For better or worse, Jerry is going to give and Jerry taketh away. And none of them have had the gravitas to stand next to Jerry and say, I'm the same. Like, there's nothing Jerry at this point can give Deion Sanders. He stands alone as his own tower. Whether he's a billionaire or the owner or not, Coach Prime exists on his own. So the pairing and the fact that they have that relationship, I truly believe is what would get Dallas over the hump.
And you know what? You made me think about something, Joy, that I think will work perfectly, too, that we don't discuss a lot of. People try to use, in the media, everybody, we try to use things to create division, you know. So we'll run the bill. Well, Jerry said this. Like, what you got to say to that, you know. Deion's not going to do that. He's not going to play. See, Deion's not trying to satisfy the media. He's already got his thing with the media anyway. So him and Jerry, I think, will unionize much better than any other head coach.
But that's the only way to go, though.
Right.
That's really the only.
I would love to see Bucket.
Available.
Love to see little Bucket running around, running his company in the locker room. I used to put him in garbage cans when he was a little kid, playing with him. And now to have him back in that locker room, Bucket, come on home and bring your dad with you. Come on home, Bucket, and bring your dad with you. That's what I need Bucket to do.
So what happens to Shedeur?
Well, I wish that, but that's too much. We won't. I don't know if Deion, I wish we could pull that off. But that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother story. But you were going to be coaching in Colorado without your son. What's the difference in coaching?
No, I'm not saying there's a difference. I'm not saying he's going to decide one way or another. I'm just saying what happens to Shedeur at the quarterback position.
We got to take it one step at a time, Keith.
Right.
We got to start one thing at a time.
Right.
Our Dallas Cowboys.
Let's get his feet in bags in Dallas, and then we'll start talking about all that stuff.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.